Sit Cindy Satsade, Sit Clean Haya. My name is Cindy. I am Chilcotin and Secwepem and Norwegian, and I like to honor all of that ancestry so that their wisdom can come through in the work that I do.
Do you ever have dreams that are connected with your culture, do you think?
I think so. One of the dreams that I do remember, like when I was pregnant with my youngest son, I was helping my grandpa to the bathroom because he was really unstable, like his balance was out. And I was helping him to the bathroom, and then he got to the bathroom, and then he let go of my hand, and he was like, "It's okay, BB, I'm fine, I'm fine." And then he shut the door, but then after he shut the door, he lost his balance, and he hit his head on the toilet.
Oh, wow. That was a dream?
That wasn't a dream. That really happened in real
okay.
life.
Yeah.
And then we ended up having to call the ambulance, and we got him brought into the hospital, and I just worried about him all day. I just remember like being, all of that guilt. And then that night I went to sleep and I was thinking about it. And when I went to sleep, I was in the middle of a dark forest. And there was only one path, and then there was like a bunch of other paths that went out through the trees and stuff, but everything was all dark. And my grandma found me, and my grandma had passed away the year before. She found me and she's like, "It's gonna be okay, like, baby, it's gonna be okay." She's like, "We'll go find your grandpa and we'll bring him back."
Wow.
And I could hear off in the distance my mom and my auntie and my uncle Herbert and my dad all yelling for my grandpa, like they were all searching for him, but it was like off in the distance. You could see a little bit of a light at the end of the forest, and I could hear them yelling for him over there. And my grandma took my hand and she led me through all these paths, and she's like, "Your grandpa's this way." And so I followed her through the forest. We found my grandpa, and she gave me his hand, and she's like, "You got to bring him back." She's like, "I can't go back with you guys, but you have to bring him back."
Wow.
So I brought my grandpa back out of the forest, back over to where my family members were. And the next day when I went back to visit my grandpa in the hospital, my uncle Herbert was like, "I can feel it in you that you were really, really, really worried about your grandpa." He's like, you do know that he's safe now, right? The connections were very mind-blowing. The fact that my grandma helped me find him and bring him out of that dark place, and then to have my uncle Herbert, voice that out loud the next day. And my grandpa, like, he had a concussion and he had like a cut on his forehead and stuff, but he like his spirits were a little more lifted, and he wasn't as like sick and hurt as he was the day before.
Wow. That's amazing.
I just remember feeling all of that guilt of like, letting go of his hand, and he fell over on the toilet, and then like in the dream taking his hand to lead him back out of there.
Wow.
And I truly believe that's how we still have that connection to our ancestors, like our ancestors that have passed before us.
Okay, you were saying something before about like having different types of dreams that just kind of stand out, and that you notice them and they stick with you, and then something comes up where you kind of have deja vu.
Yes. So I met my now boyfriend Ryan on July 23rd of 2018. And the year before that, we lived in a place where I lived upstairs with my 3 children, and my sister lived downstairs with her 1 and then turned into 3 children. And so we all kind of lived in the same house just to support each other because, single moms. And I just remember waking up super early in the morning, and it was like you could just barely see the sunshine shining through. And I remember laying in my bed and kind of like looking up, and on this side, like below my bed, on this side is the door out into the hallway, and on this side there's a door straight faced out for the bathroom. And I remember kind of like sort of waking up, and then like you know when you're sleepy and your eyes are still fuzzy and you're still trying to wake up or whatever. And I remember kind of looking up and seeing this big figure of a man walking out of the bathroom. And in my brain I thought, like, that's weird because who's in my bedroom? And then I remember like the feeling of being comfortable, like not scared but just being comfortable. And like I knew this person, but in my brain I was like, who is this person? But like in the dream, the person that I was knew this person. And he walked out of the door and he was like talking away. And then in my brain I was like, oh, it's Ryan. And then I kind of woke up, and I was like, that's weird because I don't know anybody named Ryan. Like I know one person named Ryan, like my grandma's husband. And I was like, that's so weird. Like, I don't know anybody named Ryan. And then I kind of, at the time, I was working and my sister was going to school, I think. And on the way into town, as we're bringing the kids to, like, places and we're going out, and I was like, I had the weirdest dream this morning. And I told her about it, and she's like, that's weird. She's like, I don't know anybody named Ryan either. And we just kind of chalked it off as like, well, that's weird. And then, around the same time, I had a dream where I had picked up my cell phone and I looked. It was like a Snapchat notification, and I opened it up. I didn't see any names, I just saw the Snapchat logo or whatever. And I opened up the notification, and it like opened up to the Snapchat. And in the Snapchat, it looked like some sort of heavy equipment, like some kind of equipment. I don't know what it was, but you could see like the levers and the controls and stuff. And it was a picture of a man's hiking boots, like work boots, hiking boots type work boots that were brown, and there was like black powder all over them, and everything was like really dusty. I picked up my phone and it was a Snapchat notification, and I remember in my dream just opening it up, and it opened it up to the snap, and it was a picture of work boots, like hiker work boots, and it was in a machine of some type, and there was like black powder and like dirt all over the place. And I thought that was odd, and to me I thought that was like Molly or molybdenum up at the mine or something. But I couldn't, like, I just remember like focusing in on all of these details. And the message on the snap was, hey darling, I'm running a few minutes late today. And I remember thinking in my brain, like, I don't even know anybody who talks like that. Like, I don't know anybody who uses that word, darling. And again, I told my sister about it, and I told her, I was like, I had this weird dream, and I shared the details, and I was like, I don't even know anybody who says darling. And she was like, yeah, me either. And she's like, that's odd. Like, and then I was like, yeah, weird dream again, you know. And then not even a year later, I met Ryan, and he calls me darling all the time. That's what when he's like, hey darling, like when he's trying to get my attention or talking to me or anything. And he's the first person I've ever met that talks like that. And after knowing him for a few months, he had like these ratty old like work boots, and they were like shoelaces tied back together, like duct tape holding stuff on. And I was like, you need to get some new boots, like you need to take care of yourself. And he was like, it'll be fine. And I had to convince him to get new boots. So we ended up going to Mark's work warehouse, and he's looking at all the boots, and he's like, I hate like just the regular work boots because they rub, you know, when they're all stiff and new, like it's hard to break them in the machine. And then we found a pair of brown hiking work boots. Like they look like hikers, but they were steel toes. And he was like, I think I'll get these ones. He's like, I think it'll be good for like running the equipment with. And then as soon as he put those boots onto his feet and I looked down and I saw that, I instantly remembered that dream I had about the Snapchat. And then it just kind of clicked together like, hey, he calls me darling. Those are the hiking boots that I saw in that dream. And at the time that he got those hiking boots, he was working out near Alexis Creek in the burned forest. So every day he was coming back covered in black soot from the burnt wood that he was working through with his skidder.
Wow. I love how you were able to tell someone who's like safe for you to talk to and who's like not gonna tell other people your dreams or like not gonna make fun of your dreams or kind of like put them down or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though I was saying that in our Chilcotin culture that some people will say don't tell a dream because it won't come true, or like if you tell a dream it won't come true. I just think that, you know, for you know, really strong dreamers like you and I, that we know that even if we do tell a dream, it can still come true. And like those really good things that we are bringing into our lives, or however you want to look at it, it could still happen.
Yeah.
Even if you tell it.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the thing is like I do believe that there are some dreams where you just want to hold them really close and kind of like protect yourself and like be careful of who you tell them, or maybe even, you know, leave like one detail out or something, right? Like an example would just be, you know, something that's like really, really matters to you. Like maybe it's part of your power or something, you know? And when you talked about that dream of helping your grandfather, it made me feel like that wasn't just like your personal power, it was like also your grandmother, it was like also your whole family. And so it made me feel like maybe it's like a cultural skill, you know, like within our people, right? But there would be some things that's like unique to you, and that you wouldn't want just anybody knowing, because you wouldn't want them to like try to use that against you, or like, you know, for some people they could literally be called crazy or something, you know, and then treated differently because of that.
Yeah, exactly. There's still the stigmatism of like that didn't happen, or people just not having an open enough mind to grasp what you're actually saying and being like, no.
Yeah, or maybe like not having, like, this is hard to say, but like maybe not having a respect that this is a traditional cultural way of being, is to notice our dreams and honor them and like work with them, you know, in the daytime and when we're sleeping.
Yeah, that is a good point. Like, I've seen some of our healers, our DNs, when they help our people with their good medicine, like when they do something and then when they're done and they're like, you know, you had this black, not in the words, but like a black aura connected to you, and I got rid of that. But to completely help you out of this situation you're in, I need to sleep on it.
Mm-hmm.